Fresh Express Coleslaw, 14-ounce package, half price, $1.99. Fresh Pork Shoulder Butt, hot deals at $2.39 per pound. Blue Ribbon Hamburger or Hot Dog Rolls, 8-pack, hot price, $3.49. Bermuda's Best Ketchup, 20-ounce bottle, hot price, only $2. Select varieties of ShopRite frozen fruit, 12-ounce bag, hot price, only $3.49. All stores open Monday through Saturday from 7 a.m. until 10 p.m. and Sunday 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. for your shopping convenience.
You can count on us.
Live from Bermuda Broadcasting, this is ZBM TV9 News.
You're watching Bermuda Broadcasting News. It's Tuesday, the 15th of May. I'm Diane Brewer, and thank you for joining us tonight. The government's 2020 plan is an ambitious plan to reform the public education system, but a leaked document from the Education Department underlines the sheer scale of the challenge. As Gary Moreno reports, it shows there are major causes for concern in almost every sector of public education.
The document, which we're told was submitted to the Ministry of Education in August of last year, asserts the public education system should be preparing students to become lifelong self-guided learners while encouraging critical thinking and providing the 21st century skills necessary for them to meet their full potential. However, when it comes to core subjects such as English, math, science, social studies and foreign languages, there are concerns related to teacher quality, their use of formative practices, report card comments and grading practices, lack of differentiation according to student needs, and incorporating rigorous tasks and lessons. It also points to a lack of fair and consistent access to teaching resources across the island's public schools. These include working computer labs, technology tools, and information technology services. Further, the document indicates budget constraints are impacting on the ability of schools to replace outdated textbooks. There is also reference to what is described as inequity in student-to-teacher ratios across middle schools, and this is said to impact class size, preparation periods, and available classroom space. When it comes to so-called encore subjects, which include visual arts, design technology, music, and physical education, equipment is old, and efforts at replacing them have been hampered by inadequate funding. With regard to student services, the report states the delivery of support services differs from school to school. Schools which have functional academic programs, it points out, are using different curricula, creating inconsistency in the structure of these initiatives from school to school. As a result, middle school students then enter secondary school with varying levels of development and exposure to core content. What's more, according to the report, there is data that shows there is an issue with the quality of instruction in subjects such as math, English language, and science, with student performance in these subjects declining as they move through the system. The document urges improvement in teacher effectiveness at all levels and across all subjects by ensuring and supporting higher levels of competence. It was only last Friday that Education Minister Diallo Robin gave members of the House of Assembly an update of Plan 2022. Which is meant to enable the achievement of the Department of Education's mission through the execution of its 5 priority areas, including the increasing of academic rigor and student engagement, ensure career, college and workforce readiness, enhance the quality of teacher practice and system leadership, improve infrastructure and instructional resources, ensuring system success. Gary Moreno, reporting for the Bermuda Broadcasting News.
And we have reached out to the Ministry of Education for comment, but have not yet heard back from them. In court news, the Supreme Court has been hearing evidence in the trial of a man accused of causing the death by careless driving of model Sophie Fraser-Smith. Several witnesses, including a traffic investigator, told of the aftermath of the head-on collision that killed the 21-year-old. Clinton Smith, the driver of the truck that hit her motorbike, has denied the charge against him. Jasmine Patterson reports.
A police investigator gave his analysis for the primary cause of the crash, saying the Isuzu truck driven by Clinton Smith swerved entirely into the lane on which Miss Fraser-Smith was traveling in the opposite direction. The collision occurred near Scenic Heights Pass in Southampton on Middle Road. Her black Liberty cycle was a write-off, the investigator said, with the truck ending up with numerous dents and cracks on its front windshield. Based on analysis by a collision investigator, there are 2 possible scenarios of what might have happened. One, the driver suddenly lost control of the truck, entering into the opposite lane due to high rate of speed. or he entered into the westbound lane under no control of the vehicle whatsoever. The jury also heard the investigator could not gauge either speed of the vehicles. However, road markings suggest the vehicles did not apply brakes at any point. The investigator says the victim was dragged approximately 63 feet before the driver eventually steered into the eastbound lane, crashing into a wall. This was approximately 111 feet from the initial point of contact. Evidence read in from the emergency doctor who treated Ms. Fraser Smith said she died in the ambulance en route for the hospital. An autopsy report said she had suffered multiple trauma, severe hemorrhaging, broken ribs, and several other broken bones. Glenn Woods, a painting contractor and former emergency medical technician, told the jury that around 3 p.m. that day he heard a loud crash near the Heron Bay School. He then spotted a helmet and noticed there was a person lying in the road and ran towards her. Mr. Woods says he tried numerous times to get a response from Ms. Fraser Smith, but there was none, adding, quote, her breathing stopped at least 5 times. The witness then wiped tears from his eyes as he described pleading for the 21-year-old to stay with me as he felt for her pulse. Mr. Woods also recalled a man sat on a wall who was asked what had happened. Mr. Woods says the man, who he did not know at the time was the driver, responded, quote, I think I dozed off. I think something locked up, referring to the steering wheel. Sergeant Preston Gill of the Bermuda Police Service says he arrived at the scene around 3:20 p.m. and by that time he says the victim had been transported to hospital. He says there was a white heavy truck in the eastbound lane with Dunkley's Dairy markings on the side. He observed a man at the scene and asked if he was a driver and his name. When asked about the collision, Sergeant Gill said Smith responded, I was driving east and the truck did not respond the way I wanted to and it went in the other lane. When asked how the truck ended up on the wall, he says Smith began to cry, saying he tried to stop and avoid her. Smith denied having consumed any alcohol, drugs, medication, or having any sleep issues that could impair his driving when asked. The police officer says Smith told him he had already informed his employer about issues with the steering in the truck. Smith later agreed to a breath sample for analysis and was arrested and taken to Hamilton Police Station. The result of the breath test has not yet been revealed. The trial continues. Jasmine Patterson reporting for Bermuda Broadcasting News.
And we'll have more for you after this short break, including a commemoration of Bermuda's move to full democracy just 50 years ago. Stay with us.
Price Rate is your one-stop shop with something for everyone. Household goods for kitchen, bedroom, and bathroom. Aisles of bulk groceries at value prices. A complete selection of fresh meat and produce. And an extensive range of frozen items to cover every meal. Wines from around the world and beer and liquor at discount prices. Visit Price Right at our 2 locations in Pembroke and Warren. There's always something new and always something for everyone.
If you would have came to me a year ago and told me that you could reverse my diabetes, I'd have been skeptical. I have come off my medication. I'm fine. My eyesight is gradually coming back.
And if you can control this disease, you can reduce the likelihood of having blindness. You can reduce the likelihood of amputation. You can reduce the likelihood of having dialysis. Would this mean it's a perfect cure-all for everybody? No. This is one piece of a larger puzzle.
Physicians, they do care about you, but I think this one went the extra mile. I'm here to tell you that it works. Call Dr. James. Ask him for help. Don't be afraid. As Bermudians, we've got too much pride, and we're killing ourselves with food.
Just come if you have diabetes and you'd like to take control of it. This just might be the program for you.
Welcome back. It was only in 1968 that Bermuda embraced the right for all to vote. To mark that 50th anniversary, a community group is encouraging the public to cast a symbolic ballot. Organizer Glenn Fowler spoke at City Hall today with members of the Human Rights Commission and other supporters in advance of the event. It'll be held on the 22nd of May, exactly 5 decades after the first fully democratic vote.
May 22nd will be the 50th anniversary of universal adult suffrage in Bermuda. This important milestone represents the transformation of Bermuda into a democratic jurisdiction. And we are here to celebrate and to appreciate all of those on whose shoulders we stand and who brought and built the democratic foundation for the island. As a part of this venture, we're asking the wider community to cast a vote of thanks to all of those who brought us this foundation. And they can do that vote of thanks next week, Tuesday, the 22nd, here at the City Hall between noon and 2 p.m.
Today, as we meet because we want to recognize the many people who've given an omen task to this process, not only through universal adult suffrage, but through many other initiatives that were undertaken, and the parliamentarians who also walked this bill through Parliament in order for this to make this possible.
AccuWeather is presented by BF&M Insurance Group. We now go to AccuWeather headquarters.
This AccuWeather forecast is brought to you by our friends at the BF&M Insurance Group, and we have a nice setup here. High pressure is in control, and it will remain in place for the next few days. Visible satellite over the course of the afternoon showed a tiny little fragment of cloud cover to our east. A couple of them, and then most of the clouds really are to the west. A lot of the eyes in the tropics have been centered on this area of low pressure in the Gulf of Mexico. It's probably not going to become a tropical system. It's going to run out of time or run out of space over the Gulf of Mexico as it will eventually move over land, and that will put a punctuation mark on its brief opportunity for what would have been a chance for it to become a tropical storm. And again, the water is not quite warm enough to really support that quite yet, but that's where most of the action really is. It stays hundreds of miles to our west. The satellite estimate of rain shows that we don't have any of that around here. No significant or meaningful showers in our forecast for the next few days, so we are running dry. There's a lot of dry air over our heads with the water vapor imagery showing that orange and yellow color where there's really just not much headed our way. There's a little bit of a patch of moisture that's going to run into that dry air, and it probably won't be enough to really impact us. It's warm. Temperatures 78 degrees, humidity around 70-75%, wind pretty steady this afternoon into the evening from the south at around 7 knots. Water temps warm, 76. On the inside, we have some pretty flat water, a foot or less. On the outside, 2 to 3 footers. Waves may grow slightly in a few more days, but we don't expect anything too tumultuous, and it should be a pretty good time for the boaters. Mainly clear tonight. We stay warm, only dropping to 72. Upcoming tides show that we have the tide coming in. High tide at 9:33 tonight. Tide goes back out just before 4 a.m. The tide comes back in at 9:49, and then we have low tide into the mid-afternoon tomorrow. Great day, pleasant weather, almost as warm as today, 77, more sunshine and clouds. And you can see this area of high pressure is parked firmly overhead. The center of it's just off to the east, so we are on the southerly flow side of that big clockwise swirl around high pressure. But really, most of the moisture is being funneled into the east coast of the United States, and that is going to keep us on the dry side. So as the clock ticks, not much changes. Here we go through Wednesday evening, Wednesday night. Here we are into Thursday morning, and it's barely a change. You can see some extra moisture with the front hundreds of miles to our north. That's not going to impact us in any meaningful way. So the Gateway forecast shows showers cooler into New York, Boston. Toronto looks nice just north of the clouds. Atlanta a little stormy. Miami scattered showers. London a little damp at times, 61 degrees. And then into the Caribbean, scattered showers and thunderstorms. The only thing we've been watching is that non-tropical low over the Gulf of Mexico, and that we do not expect to form into a tropical storm. The water's a little too cool. It'll move over land, and that's about it. High pressure stays in control. Maybe a few extra clouds this weekend, but it looks nice. Enjoy it. Upper 70s and warm nights as well. Have a good one.
AccuWeather was presented by BF&M Insurance Group.
The whole concept came from the collaboration with BF&M and the America's Cup. The Endeavour program is the legacy of the 35th America's Cup that was here in Bermuda in June. And we've continued the charity now operating in Bermuda. And going forward, we thought, what a great opportunity for children on the autism spectrum. And hence we actually developed the No Limits program. They really do benefit from this kind of outdoor experience, this environment. You know, just yesterday going off the east end of Bermuda, I mean, they wouldn't have done that. Not many children in Bermuda have done that. And just them learning to take control of a large bit of transportation that they're doing at that age, and they may never get that opportunity.
That's where you see the biggest progress is whether they were looking at their hand steering, now they're looking forwards and actually looking where they're going because they've realized, oh, I know where my hand is. I can do this without looking at my hand.
We are so grateful for the Endeavor program and what it has done for the students on the autism spectrum.
Welcome to Furniture Walk. At Furniture Walk, we have one of the island's widest selections of top brand home furnishings, including Stearns & Foster, Craftmaster, Natuzzi, Universal, Bassett, and many more. Whether you're freshening up your living room or remodeling your entire home, we have all the brands and top quality furnishings you'll need. We also offer in-house financing. Can't find what you're looking for in store? No problem. We can special order it for you. Our website has an even larger selection of the world's best furniture. Stop by our Paget store and we'll be happy to help you get on your way to finding the perfect selection for your home or office. Furniture Walk, furnishing Bermuda's homes for over 30 years.
Here it comes! The most exciting event of 2018, when the Oracle Boat Shed and Dockyard is the place to be. Sunday, May 27th, with the chance to come on down and play The Price is Right for fabulous prizes. Featuring the famous signature four-ways brunch with jazz music provided by the unit at either 11:30 or 2 p.m. with The Price is Right immediately after each seating, hosted by Mike Bishop. Proceeds will benefit Friends of Hospice, a charity supporting Agape House. Tickets of $150 per person will include your four-ways brunch, first mimosa, seat at The Price is Right, and one chance to win a luxury Mercedes-Benz GLA car, courtesy of Prestige Autos Limited. Book online at ptix.bm. But hurry, as seating is limited. Sponsored in part by Martini, Wedco, American Airlines, and Bermuda Blueprinting. We look forward to asking you to come on down. This is a Planning Factory Bermuda and Sound Concepts production.
Blockchain is touted as a game changer for the insurance industry, a technology which will streamline processes and boost revenue. Tony Waterman sat down with an expert from top ratings agency Fitch, who says there's no guarantee at this point that investing in technology will pay out the huge dividends many are hoping for.
We see companies that are more innovative and technology investors trying to develop platforms and software and systems at this phase. So we haven't really seen blockchain used in a wide-scale manner in insurance yet. But its potential as a platform for a shared ledger that companies can use with their trading partners, trade information, verify, disperse funds efficiently. There's plenty of opportunity. I think companies are evaluating what the investment requirements are to get a up and running blockchain system. So plenty of technology investments. You need to have the right staff and expertise to develop and run these systems. So
blockchain is still very much in its nascent stages, so there's no long track record when it comes to what the return on that investment for things like you mentioned would be. So stuff like investing in the technology, bringing in the right staff. Do you think that it's a risky investment at this point?
We think it is, yeah. So a number of companies that aren't technology leaders, they're on the sidelines still and seeing, maybe learn from others' forays into areas that don't work and see what platforms do work, and that'll help them to make more prudent investments, get things up and running quickly when the market's ready for it.
Where does this leave the deal making? Are we going to see more insurance companies snapping up those tech companies?
So definitely see insurtech investments by some of the more innovative technology-based insurers that I think, again, to either partner with firms on the outside that have expertise, or to own firms that provide data analytics and greater ways to capture information and utilize it in your underwriting claims functions. Yes, we're seeing more of that.
You meet with a lot of companies, you meet with a lot of investors. What are they saying about blockchain at this point?
When we talk to some of the larger companies in the U.S., definitely, that's one of the hurdles to get over. So technology challenges, finding the right platform, operational factors internally that, you have legacy systems that you're using. How do you move to a blockchain platform seamlessly and, not lose what you had in the past? And questions of regulatory, legal aspects that, so when we are ready to run on blockchain, and we have partners ready to run there too, that we can execute contracts and, all the terms, and also be protected if things go awry.
How close, though, is that to becoming reality?
I think it's quite a ways off. So in our report we wrote, we thought, the next 5 years, it's still a formative stage, and we think we'll see investments, and we'll have a better idea of the potential for it to really take off in the future, but I think it's still pretty far out there.
Staying with business, and Tony Waterman has your business mashup.
A battle between the world's two largest plane makers could be drawing to a close, but not without some hefty penalties. The World Trade Organization has ruled that Airbus received billions of dollars worth of illegal subsidies from the European Union at the expense of U.S. plane maker Boeing. The decision clears the way for the U.S. to impose billions in punitive tariffs on EU imports. Boeing says Airbus received $22 billion in state aid to help get the A380 Super Jumbo and A350 twin-aisle jet off the ground. Airbus has a similar case against Boeing that's awaiting a WTO ruling. Trade tensions between the U.S., Mexico, and Canada also not showing any signs of easing. A May 17th deadline is set on the renegotiation of the NAFTA agreement, but Mexico says it won't happen. The auto industry remains the sticking point. The U.S. wants more parts to be sourced from America with the aim of driving jobs back across the border. Mexico and Canada say they're being flexible but refuse to budge on the so-called sunset clause, which would see the deal renegotiated every 5 years. Failure to reach an agreement could put the entire deal in limbo, including the import of agricultural products, which make their way to Bermudian grocery stores. $85 million won't only get you this Manhattan penthouse, it can also be your ticket to outer space. At 15,000 square feet, it's the second most expensive apartment for sale in New York City. The 8-bed, 8-bath luxury space not sweet enough, though. The seller, who runs a real estate company, threw in some extra goodies, including a yacht, 2 Rolls-Royce Phantoms, a live-in butler, and 2 seats on the Virgin Galactic flight to space. The impressive add-ons have left some wondering if it's not all just a marketing ploy. That's your business mashup. I'm Tony Waterman.
You can count on us.
Fresh blueberries, 1-pint package, hot price $4.99. Fresh Purdue chicken thighs, just $1.99 per pound. Bermuda's Best mayonnaise, 30-ounce jar, hot price at only $3. Scott Extra Soft Toilet Tissue, 4 rolls, only $3.29. Pampers Baby Dry or Swaddler diapers, hot price $9.99. All stores open Monday through Saturday, 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. and Sunday 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. for your shopping convenience.
You can count on us.
This is Rick Blomquist of De Pere, Wisconsin. His life is pretty comfortable. He lives in a comfy home, wears comfortable shoes. He even has a comfortable job. Rick Blomquist thought he had comfort all figured out. But then he laid on a Certa and realized his life was only just sorta comfortable. The new Certa iComfort Hybrid Mattress. Not just sorta comfortable, Certa comfortable.
Feel the difference a good night's sleep can make. Exclusively available at Dreams, Bermuda's only mattress gallery.
Are you looking to expand your customer base, increase sales, and be a part of the Island Community Events for 2018? Bermuda Broadcasting Company can make that happen.
Be a part of World Cup 2018, Bermuda Day Half Marathon, Bermuda Heroes Weekend, Cup Match Classic, and Eastern Counties Cricket.
Inquire about our new advertising opportunities, whether big or small. We will deliver. Come and see us at Fort Hill, Devonshire, or email us at sales@bbc.bm or send us a message on Facebook at Bermuda Broadcasting.
Cricket dominates today's sports report, brought to us by Earl Baisden.
We're just over a week away from the start of the Bermuda Day Half Marathon Derby, and the 2016 champion, Lamont Marshall, is looking to compete again.
So I'm definitely registered and looking to run. The athletic side, I couldn't be better prepared. In all my years of competing May 24th, I've always gone in more or less track fit, not really half marathon. And even though I don't consider myself a full marathon, a half marathoner, I've done the work. 2-3 weeks ago, I broke the 10,000 meter record, and since then I've been putting in some long miles, some hill work and strength training that's more specific to May 24th. So I'm definitely prepared and excited to come down in this year's half.
ZBM Sports can reveal that Nathan Trott has been drafted into the England under-21 squad, who will face opposition from China, Mexico, and Qatar in the annual Torino tournament. Trott and his teammates will head to France later this month, looking to lift the title for a third successive year following victories in 2016 and 17. During Inside Sports Talk Radio yesterday, West Ham United Academy boss Terry Wesley revealed that Trott has been drafted into the team. The Bermuda Cricket Board's Open Cricket League season continued this past weekend, and once again we look to bring you the top performers. In the batting department, Greg Mabry from the Somerset Cricket Club was the top scorer for the weekend with a knock of 91. With a knock of 71 saw Cofield Robinson, representing Flats Victoria, the second highest scorer. Treadwell Gibbons from St. George's Cricket Club was the next highest with a knock of 69. In the bowling department, Onias Bascom from the St. George's Cricket Club had the best figures of 7 overs, 2 maidens, 5 for 13. Nairobi Mills had the second best figures of 10 overs, 2 maidens, 5 for 26, representing Southampton Rangers. Nelson Bascom, representing Flats Victoria, had the third best figures of the weekend, bowling 12 overs, 1 maiden, 5 for 37. Meanwhile, yesterday, Kamal Leverock suited out for Nottinghamshire second 11, helping them to record a 6-wicket victory over Northamptonshire second 11. Nottinghamshire won the toss and decided to bowl. They bowled Northamptonshire out for 165. Leverock did not bowl. In reply, Nottinghamshire scored 166 for 4. Leverock was out for 1 trapped LBW. Gillian Teixeira began competing in the Valkenswaard International Horse Jumping event in the Netherlands. Teixeira and Amarula finished 50th competing in the CSI 2 Small Tour 1.35 meter in 2 phases special class. The pair only competed in 1 phase at a time of 33.89, but they had 4 penalty fault points. Taylor Canfield and his U.S. One sailing teammates captured the 68th Argo Group Gold Cup on Saturday in the Hamilton Harbor with a 3-1 victory over Johnny Bertson's Swedish crew. Canfield won the King Edward VII Gold Cup for the second time following his first win back in 2012. The petite final saw Australians Tova Mertzky defeat Lucy McGregor from the UK by a score of 2-0. American modified Volvo 70 Warrior, sailed by Stephen Murray, has taken the line honors during the 2018 Antigua Bermuda race. Warrior set a new record of 2 days, 18 hours, 32 minutes, and 48 seconds for the run. Stephen Baker from USA won the 16th annual Ranry Junior Gold Cup on the waters of the Hamilton Harbor on Saturday. The 14-year-old from Fort Lauderdale dominated the regatta with a low score of 14 points, finishing 20 points ahead of Bermudian Christian Aben. Bermuda's Rugby America's North Caribbean Championships got off on the wrong foot at the National Sports Center on Saturday against USA South. USA South scored early and often in the first half and took a 31-7 lead to the break. The second half would see Bermuda outscore USA South 21-17, but that only brought them within 20 points as USA South walked off the field with a 48-28 win. Bermuda Archers concluded competing at the Eastern Foundation Gator Cup Archery Tournament. The Bermuda Archers competed in the elimination round, competing in the men's recurve seniors 70-meter event. Bernard Wade went down 6-2 to Chris Webster, while Robert O'Connor went down 6-0 to Matthew Knoffel. Cameron Pickering, competing in the recurve junior men's division, went down 6-2 to Gyeon Kim in their quarterfinal matchup, while William Pickering, competing in the recurve masters male division, went down 6-0 to Jeff Starkweather. 21 goals were scored last evening at the PCC hockey rink as the 2018 Bermuda Inline Bowl Hockey League season continued. 11 goals were scored in the opener as the Tuckerstown Tropics edged St. David's Islanders 6-5. Owen Cease scored his second consecutive hat-trick to lead the Tuckerstown Tropics to victory. Christopher Merritt added 2 goals while Tom Miller added the other. The St. David's Islanders got 2 goals from Christopher Jackson and single strikes from Pete Brodsky, Scott Shannon, and Jeremy Esty. In the nightcap, the Southampton Sailors defeated the Wart Waves 9-1. The Bermuda Commercial Summer Softball League season continued at the Michael Pre Softball Diamond last evening, where a triple header saw 97 runs cross the plate. In the opener, a total of 46 runs were scored as the X-Bets defeated the Sunglass and Watch Shop 28-18. The Angels then defeated the Outback Skylights 24-1, and Hard Knocks defeated the PHC Zebras 28-8.
I'm Earl Baisden with Bermuda Broadcasting Sports.
Thanks, Earl. That's all for tonight. I'm Diane Brewer. Thank you for joining us. Good night.